Welcome to our first tutorial about automation. Automation lets us save our changes on each track's volume, pan, effects, and more throughout your song so that everything plays back just how you mixed it. In the olden days, you had to have a lot of people preparing a mix all at once, and they had to rehearse it all pretty carefully because all the sliders on the analog console had to be moved in real time, and any mistakes couldn't be fixed easily. Computers give you an alternative to this. It's called automation. Automation makes the process of mixing a lot easier. You're able to adjust the tracks one at a time, parameter by parameter, and then go back and make changes wherever you want, whenever you want. Cubase remembers all of this and plays all of your complex mixing back in the final playback or audio mixdown. Automation is most commonly used to change volume, pan, send and insert effects, to mute a track, or to bypass any sent or inserted effects. In this lesson, we'll be learning how to create automation for the volume faders on the mixer for audio tracks. We'll be using the mixer and dragging the sliders up and down. We're going to learn how to write automation manually in the event display window in our next lesson. To start out, use the mixer to get each channel's levels in an approximate location where the balance is reasonable. This is your basic mix. Automation isn't used to get each channel's levels at the approximate level where the mix sounds balanced. You'll want to use the mixer to do this before you begin writing your automation. Here's the track list in the project window. Each one's got an R and a W button. R is green when it's active, and W is red when it's active. When you enable the R button or Read button, you tell Cubase to read any automation that you've created for your song's playback. When the button is not active, when it's gray instead of green, Cubase won't play the automation during playback. The automation is still there, it's still stored, but it just won't play unless that R button is green. When the button is gray, the automation is what's called bypassed. When the W button is active, that's your signal to Cubase to save whatever movements to controls you make. In summary, you need the W or Write button red and active in order for Cubase to save your changes. You need the R or Read button to be green or active to hear what you've recorded. If the Read and Write buttons are both active, then Cubase will read your automation and allow you to make changes to it during the playback. Cubase will save those changes and let you play them back real-time. You can also enable and disable automation reading and writing from the mixer window using the toggles on each channel, or you can use the global toggles on the far left in the common panel. Now be alert and careful while you're writing automation. For example, if I mute some other tracks during write-enabled playback so that I can better hear the track that I'm working on, Cubase is going to save that mute control, and these other tracks might mute during subsequent playback. It's actually pretty easy to overwrite existing automation, so do stay focused while you're doing this. I recommend that once you're happy with your track's automation, you lock it so you don't accidentally write over it. The lock control appears in the track list area. It's the lock icon. Let's close the mixer so we can see it. Click here to lock your track so that you can't make any more changes to it. One thing I like to do is lock the tracks that I'm not working on so that I don't make any accidental screw-ups. Just press the button again to unlock the track, and then you'll be able to make some changes to it. Activating Read and Write on a track in any control window activates the buttons in all other control windows for that track. Writing automation with an external analog mixer that's connected to your computer feels more intuitive and sensitive to many people than dragging faders up and down with your mouse. This is something that you might wish to consider, and of course, Cubase will support additional mixing hardware. If you're using the mixer faders or an external console to write your automation, you can choose from different automation modes that tell Cubase how to behave. The Automation Mode Selection tool is located in the toolbar. If you don't see it up on top of your project window, right-click on any tool and select Automation Mode. We've got 3 automation modes available. Touch is the default automation writing mode. There are also auto latch and crossover. Automation modes will vary how your manipulation of the controls or the faders will write data. The touch mode starts writing as soon as you move any control. It stops when you release the control. Auto latch starts writing as soon as you move a control and keeps writing until you stop playback or deactivate write status. So even if you let go of the fader, you will still be recording automation. This is good for changing a long section of a song. It's different than touch, which stops recording as soon as you let go of the control or the mouse. Crossover starts writing as soon as you move a control and stops writing as soon as it crosses any previously written automation. This is useful if you don't want to overwrite a certain part of your mix by accident. This button here toggles on the display of the automation panel, which we'll talk about later on. Here's where we toggle on or off various automation controls. Click the button again to toggle the panel closed. Here's the song we've been putting together in the last few lessons of this course. Let's try writing some volume automation for it. I've set the volume of the high bells track, bells up, a little bit lower in my general mix. But there's one phrase where the levels were just too hot during the recording, and I want to lower the faders for that particular phrase. This is a perfect job for animation. Let's close the mixer and navigate to the part of my piece that I want to adjust a little bit. I'm going to want to zoom in on it so I can see it pretty clearly. Expand the track a little bit. Scroll to the right. You can even see in the waveform where the sound sticks out. Let's just have a listen to this part. And we press the space bar to stop playback. I'm going to squish up the tracks that I'm not working with, and let me expand both burbles low and bells up. I think the burbles low is a little bit loud too in this area, and I'm going to lower that as well using volume automation written in the mixer. Let's stop playback and open the mixer by pressing F3. The two tracks that I've got selected in the project window are highlighted in the mixer. Let me just rearrange my window a bit so I can get some more screen real estate. I'm going to narrow the channels with this control. Resize the mixer and then tuck it into the corner. And let's actually hide the routing panel too. Okay, let's start with bells up. Here's where the levels are set currently. Let's enable the read and write automation buttons. Position our cursor in the appropriate location. Now when the part that's too hot or loud comes up, I'm going to drag the fader down a little bit until the balance sounds better. Now let's restore it. Stop playback. Disable write status and lock the track. Remember that I'm in touch mode. I need to hold down the fader throughout the duration of my writing in order for Cubase to save my actions. Let's take a look at the burbles low track. Position the cursor. Turn on read and write. And play back. Let's stop playback. Disable the write status. Move this out of the way, and let's lock burbles low as well. Let's shrink these two tracks a little bit. Just shift select them, drag them up. Let's expand the cello track. I'd like to boost the cello for the last phrase. but I'll need to do this so that it doesn't clip the output. I'm going to zoom in on the final phrase. Let's right enable the cello track. I'm just going to boost during the playback to give this part some extra zing. Stop the playback, disable write status, and let's lock the track. Always make sure you've got an eye on the output channel's clip indicator while you're writing automation. Let's drag the horizontal scroll bar to the left and take a listen, and then we can watch our automation as it happens during playback in the mixer. Make sure that the tracks where we wrote automation are read enabled. The R button needs to be green, and as you see it is, on the cello track as well as burbles low and bells up. Now watch the sliders as they move up and down during the playback. And let's stop our playback. What I saw is a repetition of the movements I made while writing automation during the playback without me having to touch the sliders again. Those volume adjustments are now stored as automation. This concludes our first lesson on automation.